Hello, everyone. My name is Danny. This review is for the movie called I, Daniel Blake. This is a 2016 film. It was released in 2017 in USA, which is where I'm from. It's rated R. It runs an hour and 40 minutes. And it stars Dave Johns, Haley Squires, and Sharon Percy. The description: after having suffered a heart attack, a 59-year-old carpenter must fight the bureaucratic forces of the system in order to receive employment and support allowance. This is I, Daniel Blake. Well, thank you everybody for watching this video. If you'd like any correspondence with me outside of YouTube, I do have my Facebook page. It's called Danny's Movies and Music. I have a lot of bonus content on there, so if you'd like to check that out, I appreciate it. This is a little bit of an older movie, 2016. Feels old nowadays, and that's just what I do. I watch older movies. I can watch up to pretty much 2001, as long as I haven't seen the movie before. So that's why I put out a lot of bonus content, more than other YouTubers, especially nowadays, because I'll watch anything I haven't watched before. So, this is my second review in the row where I'm a bit emotional. I'm a little heavy-hearted after watching the last two movies I have. The Keeper got me thinking, and that's one of the longest reviews I've done on YouTube in a long while. Just had to kind of pour my heart out. And this is a little bit of the same way, but I don't feel so much direct like correspondence with this movie, but it's still his home, and it's still gonna affect a lot of people, and I'm really glad that it was made. Um, Firstly, about the movie, the guy who plays Daniel Blake just plays a nice guy all the way around. He has this thing happen to him, wasn't planning on it. He tries to go through the steps that you need to go through to get benefits, and this movie makes it seem like it's really hard to get benefits. I don't think people have to struggle so much here in the States. I hear about people getting benefits all the time for, like a back issue, and like that's their reason that they can't work because of the back. But I mean, like, I understand that it's serious, but it just seems pretty easy to get benefits here in the States. So I don't know so much about the system in Europe, or if it is like impossible to get benefits, but this movie pretty much portrays it to be the most messed up system ever, for trying to get what you really need. It's not like, I mean, this guy, he has a heart attack. It's not like he was planning on hitting himself over the head with a baseball bat or anything. I mean, he had a serious condition, and his doctor says that he cannot work. This company says that he can. So then he still have to go through the course of action to try to get your benefits from this company to prove that you're not able to work like your doctor says, but the company doesn't believe you and still doesn't give you benefits, but you still got to go through the steps. Like, the whole movie is just a farce of a system. I mean, I can't imagine this is truly how hard it is to get benefits in Europe, but maybe it is. So whether it's a true story or not, based on how conditions are, um, this is just a real struggle. And I just know a lot of people who have gone through the system in any part of the world, and I know it's tough. I know it sucks to have to go through. I know that feeling of having something happen to you and trying to go through the things you have to go through to survive. I mean, I used to go to food banks and get that crappy food, the cans that you're not going to eat, the stuff that you get that you're not going to use. So when that scene happens in this movie, I understand that's sucking. I mean, you don't want to be there. You think you're better than that. And I really have, gotten a lot better in my life from those days where I was so poor, I found myself going to food banks. and thinking about being homeless and all that stuff. So I was kind of cheering for the characters in this movie to figure it out. And maybe one of our characters does, but it's not Daniel Blake. And so it's really a raw and drama kind of movie because Daniel is, fighting and arguing the most simplistic way and the most nice guy way all the way until the end. And I mean, what else are you supposed to do? Except try to say that the system doesn't work. And we hear about these movies so rarely. Like I don't think people really want these movies to be made because it really does show the crappy side of the government and how things are working and not working. And I hear from friends, all the time about this kind of stuff, and it just doesn't feel right. But what are you supposed to do except work to make sure that you can survive? If there are jobs out there. So, as far as the movie goes, again, a little bit back to that. I'd say the accents in this movie were a little heavy for me, for my taste. Sometimes I love watching English movies. Sometimes their comedy and their way of doing things is just so enjoyable. And I'll watch movies like this from the BBC countless times. The accents were a little tough for me in this one. As far as the movie goes, they pan to black a bunch, and I'm not really sure if this was made for TV, maybe, and that's why It's still a movie, so I watched it as a movie, but I'm kind of wondering if it was made for television more than anything, and so I really didn't care for the black outing all the time, like after every scene, everything that happens, and it's just no transitions and no fluidity, and that really just the movie in all encompassing the movie, it's so slow. It's so hard to stay with this movie, even though you're totally all about what the subject material is about. The movie goes so slow throughout the whole thing. Doesn't really matter what's happening, who's talking, who's doing what, and they're really just telling a personal story. There's not like a movie being made. It's just a story of these people and their interactions with each other. And even though it's sad, even though it's effective, even though it's against the government, all this stuff, you just kind of find yourself saying, "Man, this is a long movie," and it's not that long of a movie. So, with everything involved, with you know the unjustness and the crazy thought of how crappy getting benefits can be and all that story, with the slowness of the movie and kind of disappointing factor of how this movie was made, I'm going to give Daniel Blake a B minus. It's one to suggest because I know a lot of people can relate with this, and maybe you want to tell me your story sometime if you want to connect with Facebook or down below in the comments. But I know a lot of people have gone through what Daniel Blake had to go through in this movie, and I think that's why it's a movie to suggest. And so I hope you're able to seek it out. Yes, it's a little older movie, but it's worth it. And if you haven't seen it before, I think maybe you'll connect with it, and maybe it'll become a favorite of yours. And just tell me how you feel about it if you have seen it. So a B minus for Daniel Blake. Thanks a lot, guys. My name's Danny. If you like this or my other videos, try and get some of them to watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would. And enjoy movies. Thanks.